Hello, this reading is for Sagittarius rising, and it's the new moon for April 12th, and that new moon is falling in Aries. So to start it off, for you, Sagittarius rising, your Aries falls in your fifth house of creativity and children. So you have Venus there with the sun and the moon, because it's the new moon, and Mercury. So I would see this as a very artistic time. If you have children, to do arts with the children. It's very loving and caring time. So you might be connecting with your children in a more loving way with Venus there. And maybe with Mercury, you're talking to them in a more loving way. But the main thing with the fifth house is creativity and children. So however you want to make that into your life, bring that in. The other house I want to look at is the first house, because that's where your south node is. And so with the south node is, our first house is our personality and how we present ourselves to people. And so you might be going through some changes and more getting in touch with your truth and your spiritual philosophies. So you might be presenting yourself into more of a spiritual group. There could be people from your past when you coming into your life that you're attracting, because the south node is your past. So it can be past lives, or it can be just this life past. The second house for you is Capricorn, and this is where you make money and how you value yourself. And having Pluto there, you're going to be going through a lot of changes. You actually have been, because Saturn has been there, and so has Jupiter, and now Pluto's the last planet left in there. So depending where that falls, you've been probably dealing with it. So that could, with Capricorn there, I see Capricorn, it can be authority. So maybe you are in a position of authority at your job. But a lot of times Capricorn are the hard workers, and they don't seem to get the reward for their hard work. So with Pluto there, you have an opportunity to transmute that, because Pluto is going to transmute the old way of doing things. So work on changing that you are rewarded for what you give at work, no matter what you do. So make sure that that gets more put into balance if it wasn't in balance before. Saturn and Jupiter has moved into your third house of Aquarius. So the third house represents the way you communicate with people. It's also with your siblings, lower education, and having Aquarius there. Aquarius has to do with technology and humanity. So you might be working with computers more, or a new program. You might even start studying astrology if that's something that's always interested you. The next house is, the fourth house is Pisces. So with Neptune going through Pisces, you might be bringing a spiritual group into your home, or turning your home more into a sanctuary for yourself, a spiritual retreat that you feel like you can come and have that one place that feels good to you when you come home. Neptune also represents water, so make sure you're checking your pipes every so often to make sure nothing there goes wrong. Not that it has to, but just check them. The next house is Aries, your fifth house. That's where the new moon is. And I had already talked about that. So I'm going to skip to the next house, which is the sixth house, which is your daily work. And it's also your health. So with Uranus there, Uranus can mean lightning bolt changes, you know, just like comes out of nowhere, and maybe you have an illness, or the way you work changes. You get a new boss and you have to change your daily routine because he or she changes it for you. So it can be a lot of changes. Or you move to a different job completely. It does have to do with your daily routine. So just the day-to-day task you do at work or at home could be changing. So Uranus can be quite, we look to that when there's volcanoes or earthquakes. So things could shake up in your daily routine is how I'm going to see it, or with your health. So really, if you see something or you just feel off, make sure to check that, get that checked out. The seventh house is your North Node and Mars, and that's your relationship house. And since it's in Gemini, it could be you might be more aggressive in the way you communicate in your relationships. It could be your intimate relationships. It could be relationships at work, your friends, anything. So with Mars there could be a little more aggression there, or you're going after something that you've always wanted. But Mars is the warrior. So that's kind of a quick what's happening for this new moon. And so you might want to set your intentions around that fifth house where the new moon hits, with children and creativity and luck. So a luck's there with Venus. I didn't mention luck is the fifth house also. But if you want a more detailed reading for this month that's more in tune with your chart, you could go to my website, shaunasay.com, and you can go to my services page. I'm sorry, my services page, and contact me through that. And you just create a wonderful month this April. It's about starting things new. So what can you start new, especially in the creativity? Start a new form of painting, maybe learning to paint, something like that, writing. So just explore and get creative. Thank you. Have a great month.